Have you
sense.
tried a grapefruit before, like actual grapefruit?
I mean, I used to eat grapefruit like for breakfast because I saw Thomas DeLauer, whatever. I can take usually grapefruit are more sour, most of it. Like, no matter how ripe I get, sometimes it's still, there's more sour note than like orange. Orange, I think, got more sugar content. Grapefruit is usually less sugary, less fructose.
I think grapefruit is like one of the more healthy citrus fruits.
It cleanses your system. Well, is it a liver or?
To be fair, I think lemon and lime also, but they are less like you enjoy as sweet fruit. They are more really sour, that kind of taste.
Oh,
Grapefruit's
but
like
I heard something about grapefruit. There's like a compound that even lemon and lime don't have that helps with your liver function or something. Like,
I mean, that's probably why it's
yeah.
good. I hear from Deida and
yeah,
all these sources.
but I can take sour. I can eat lemon without flinching. So I love grapefruit.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Same, I think.
I'm a sour guy.
We are Olivia Rodrigo.
Nope.
No
I
no
don't-
hot watcher, cancelled.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, last episode, we covered the importance of fixing your hormones or fixing your habits and environment so that you can fix your hormonal health. And we promised to cover a list of things you can consider doing that will, help you with your hormonal health.
Yeah. Basically, testosterone boosting protocols, because we all want more testosterone. And if you like, just give a quick like elevator pitch again on testosterone.
Sure.
Just helps you build more muscle, make hard work feel good. So you get to do what you want to do to get to where you want to go while feeling good. So that's like what everyone wants. You don't want to feel like a chore, you don't want to burn out. So having more testosterone will just help you to achieve your goals effortlessly in one sense. Because when you are having fun, it's hard to feel effortful. Yeah. So that's why you want to have more testosterone.
Particularly for guys.
And to produce it naturally. We are not telling you to go do some testosterone replacement therapy.
Steroids.
When, 18
no
years
steroids.
old, you start. It's not good.
It's horrendous for you.
Yeah, allow your body to learn how to produce more testosterone and it become a norm. Yeah. So
just preface again for hormonal health in general. Even if you're a woman or girl, your hormones if they are being disrupted, right, they will affect your cycles, cause weight gain, stress, everything. I mean, men and women have different healthy body fat percentages. So you can, but like weight gain across like the board is not that good. You don't want excess fat as a whole. Yeah, I've been on a micro bulk, so weight gain in that sense. But yeah, stress, as we said, is a silent killer. So we also covered how to deal with that. First and foremost, like the mindset aspect in the last episode, we really recommend if you want to first deal with the mindset of point of view, why exactly we want to do this. That was a summary, but the full episode will be linked in show notes.
So knowing the why.
Yeah, knowing the why.
Knowing the why is one of the biggest mindset boost to increase testosterone. I think in addition to that, I didn't cover it last week's episode, is to just, if you're a man, just be a man. I think that's something that a lot of us just oversee. Like, we don't get reminded enough. I'm not saying that those toxic masculinity, you have to like suppress emotions. I'm saying that being a man conveys two things: having balls and having a spine. So balls means that virtues of like being courageous, be brave at certain times when you need to, doing the hard things, even like discipline, temperance, stopping yourself from like all this conveyed in like just having balls. That having a spine means you stand up for yourself and you have integrity. So doing the right things that align with your values, your morals, even when no one is watching. Having a spine, standing up for yourself, standing up for the weak. Justice.
Taking responsibility for your own life and your actions, everything. Yes.
Be the leader in your own life, and afterwards you can start leading other people as well. So all this is what I mean when I say just be a man. there's the mindset shift that once you be a man, you start building the evidence. Like you have a bank of evidence because you're making decisions that help you to tell yourself a better story. So it goes back into last week's episode of the why. So all this works in synchronicity. Yeah.
Synchronized, yes.
Yeah. So this is one of the mindset shift that I think is important to get it out of the way first. Like before you watch any of you listen to any of the protocols for the testosterone boosting, having this in mind will just enhance the whole entire experience. You won't feel like you're doing something wrong or out of place because it's part of the process. If you're courageous, if you are trying to help and lead people around you, you naturally want to have more testosterone. Yeah. So you allow yourself to have it as well.
In the past, I used to say that when I pointed at guys, like a group of guys, I'll be like, so they like weak of testosterone or like super like testosterone sort of thing. And I saw that as bad lah. So it's like demonizing that because culture as a whole with feminism, which unironically, like is an attack on femininity as a whole. So, and then they also shame men, which is really not good. And shaming, demonizing masculinity as a whole, and doing work, but we need work to get done, that sort of thing. So you don't want to look at testosterone as, oh, this is just being like a super what? You don't want to have negative connotation with that because it actually is an integral part of us as people.
Yeah, we also don't want to have like all the extreme kind of like views in the sense that when you talk about masculinity, it's easy to make a point and get viral or get polarizing so that people love or hate you. When you talk about like, oh men, like all the viewpoints from like Andrew Tate or how they phrase it, it's very controversial. It's very easy to go tap into that, but we don't really want that. If you really talk about objective masculinity, it's more about just having being grounded. Because in the way of the superior man, the feminine is basically the whole entire world. Whatever that's happening, your emotions, everything that is impermanent.
Everything that changes.
Masculine is like the core. It could be your purpose, it could be your character, things that you ground yourself so that whatever that's changing around you, you have that thing to guide you, the masculine core to guide you to do what you need to do to get to where you want to get to. That's the masculine essence in this case.
Being principled.
Yeah, so demonizing masculinity, from my own personal story, I talked to one of my reservist personnel is like older than me. We were talking about like Andrew Tate and stuff. Then he started to talk about masculinity in a very, very bad way. Yeah, it's laughable. Like as I'm listening, I try not to like support too much. I don't want to show because I am not a fanboy of like Andrew Tate, all these talks. Not toxic,
they
but
can
like
be
negative.
They can be labeled as
they are labeled as toxic masculinity.
It's more whether traditional or
But I am a proponent of learning from everyone, knowing where you want to go and learning the right things. Like
hearing different perspectives so that you can choose your own way, forge your own path.
There's some things that Andrew Tate preach, like being a family person, having discipline, improving your communication. You see, I can't even pronounce words now. Communicational skills. Those are the things that I think make sense. Like, if you don't improve yourself, how can you have a positive impact on the world in the way that you want to? Because if you don't have the skills, then if you're not competent, then how can you help other people? How can you effectively help other people to better their lives?
There are a lot of the definitions of masculinity. It's always about the cultural definition of masculinity. So that will always change with time also. But what doesn't change are really character principles, things like that are inert, not very
it's the intrinsic values instead of the extrinsic showcasing the virtue signaling, or I am masculine or I support feminism. Like, you don't want to go too much into those separate like camps. You just want to focus on what is the essential thing, which is your innate moral compass, your character traits.
What's authentic to
Yeah.
you?
So I didn't try to like change his mind, but I do keep asking questions in a way that, like, some questions have agenda. The way I ask the question is like, oh, you're wrong, which kind of turns him off a bit. Like I say like, oh, why do you think? Who tells you that he's what does toxic masculinity mean? Then he will start like, I can tell he's struggling with the answer answering, because he's just plug and playing whatever they hear.
Yeah, it's the idea
online.
that people just the first opinion they hear like from any form of authority or just someone else, then they will just regurgitate that when someone asks you a question on the topic.
Yeah, then he starts saying, I say, oh, who do you hear this from? He said, oh, the media, or like everyone online or whatever. Then I'm like, oh, so everyone online.
Yeah, so you have to think for yourself. Yes, that's very important.
So thinking about how to think, first you need to analyze your sources. And I'm not saying do it for everything, because it doesn't serve you if you have to analyze your sources for everything. So at the end of the day, know that, use your masculinity, knowing where you want to go, knowing your purpose, then you will find out what you need to think about also. Yeah. So most of us, we want to be able to increase like our testosterone, just so that we are not easily swayed by like emotion, in a sense, because a lot of people are using like media, whatever, they're using fear, they're using emotions that people, it will sap a lot of your energy just for you to go through that, like processing of that emotion, like fear mongering or using polarizing content. I think having more testosterone will help with that.
It does make you sort of more disagreeable, which could be good, could be bad.
Yeah.
Generally with content online, you want to discern. So it is thinking for yourself. It is challenging your own beliefs, challenging other people's beliefs, all those you see online. Figure out which points that you agree with, which you disagree with. Then eat the meat, take the meat, leave the bones or something. Right?
Yeah.
That's all for masculinity, or for now, culture.
It's linked to the hormone, but not really.
I mean, it is, everything is sort of interconnected. Yeah. So now let's dive into testosterone. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to start with measuring first of all.
Okay. Because why is measuring important?
Because it is
about testosterone.
All about awareness, having an awareness whether you even have problems regarding testosterone.
Okay.
But caveat obviously is that testing requires access to the testing and money also. So if you don't know where to start, even with testing, or you don't have the financial capability, you cannot, which is tougher.
So if it's important, what is the workaround to measurement?
I guess it is awareness. There is more professional help. So it'll be actually getting a blood test, measuring everything. But there's also, there's anecdotal data.
But let's just assume 85% of people listening will not have access, or they won't go that deep into getting professional help, getting their blood work done, testing for testosterone levels. Then what is a good way to still get a form of measurement? Like what kind of, they just talk about anecdotal kind of data or measurement or tracking. How does that work?
So journaling, writing down your how you feel like on a day-to-day, having awareness on that front, just so that you can, if you're gonna do anything to sort of fix or change your life, you want to have a before and after. I found myself, I did a test, but it was only after I went through all the protocols trying to fix my health and everything. So my test is not the best representation of, I went from point A to point B. I don't have it well documented. I don't have a before.
So what I'm hearing is that if you are not going to go do a blood work or a blood test to really know your testosterone level, a good way is to reflect on your wellness, how you feel, the before and after, like just document it so that you have with documentation, you are able to compare, you're able to see what changed, you're able to make links, the cause and effect. And also document not just how you feel, but what you did and how close you are to getting what you want done in a sense. Like how aligned are you with your purpose, your daily actions with basically your masculine core.
Yeah.
How masculine are you in that sense?
If it's a pursuit, then you want to do it in a controlled and safe environment, experiment safely and have it structured right down. So you have a before, after, you're testing a hypothesis. It's like the scientific method in a sense. Yeah.
So for people that don't know, how do you measure, or what is the range of testosterone levels? Like if they go do a blood work, how do they gauge how much testosterone or how little they have?
So every test that you go and do, they have a reference range. I think the usual is probably 100 to about 1,000 plus. There is free testosterone, which is really is a percentage that matters more in terms of like what your body actually is like using, and it's free for you to be used. But there is just total testosterone, which is much more cost effective to get. And generally higher is better for both metrics. You want to measure the right things, and those are the right things in a sense.
The unit measurement is what? Deciliter per...
Nanogram per deciliter.
Nanogram per deciliter.
Yeah.
Okay, so higher the better is to about 1,000 plus.
Yeah.
Depending on how...
Total testosterone. Then after that, the percentage is a percentage of that. So higher in this number, then the percentage also, I think, be affected.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the range usually it's not standardized, right? Like in terms of the healthy range that most blood work companies or clinics, they have their own kind of like healthy range.
Their own sample size.
For your age.
Average,
Yeah.
So being mindful of that is good.
But generally having more doesn't hurt unless you are like, I don't know, you're a freak or something. But for most of us, it's okay to have like, if you have 1,000, that's great. That's like good news. Yeah. So it's never too high if you're like just naturally like living, eating, dieting.
It's always you want hormones to be in a balance. So for testosterone, if your estrogen is you generally want to increase your testosterone and then reduce your estrogen. But obviously all extremes are sort of bad. You don't want to go too low. Too low estrogen, you also lose your libido, stuff like that.
Then is there a way that if you are like the balance is way too off, you have too much testosterone, you become too risk-taking, then you start doing stupid stuff?
Yeah,
maybe,
too risk-taking, too disagreeable. There is...
But it's not likely that a lot of us in this current day and age have that problem. Yeah.
From there, it is just using character principles to make sure you're controlling yourself.
Especially you can really see nowadays people are just generally more docile. They are less likely to fight back or just be more rebellious, I guess.
Think for themselves.
Yeah. They are okay with just listening to whatever input they have, whatever that's shoved into their minds, then just use that as their metric of like making decisions, their criteria of like even life decisions, important decisions. Yeah. So that could be a symptom of not having a good balance between testosterone and estrogen.
It affects your communication also. So whether you're assertive or you're passive aggressive or too passive, that is the sort of thing that the hormone levels in your body can affect also.
Okay.
Jordan Peterson has the quote, "A harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very dangerous man, strong, who has that under voluntary control." So martial arts, you learn how to defend yourself, everything. But then you also, it's mostly for defense. You're doing it to protect the people you love, yourself, things like that.
It's the same thing as promiscuity and loyalty. Not having options to date multiple girls, but saying that you only want to date one girl doesn't mean that you're loyal. It doesn't translate that you are not promiscuous or you value commitment. Commitment is when you have options, but you still choose the same the one you started with, the one that you're ride or die, the one that you make the commitment to yourself and to her that you're gonna stick by her, stay by her.
Yeah, lack
That
of
is loyal.
options. That means you have no, you can't even have the option to choose. So like you have no choice. You're not exercising choice at all.
That is where the strength come through in terms of weakness, strength, in terms of loyalty in a relationship context, in friendship context as well. Like if I suddenly have a business, a podcast partner that come about, will I ditch this podcast to go to that? I mean, I didn't make a commitment. Okay, I did.
You did.
To be loyal. Yeah, but I did. So to myself. Yeah. Yeah. So what is the range that is healthy for a teenager?
Generally,
18 to 22, I would say.
Okay, testosterone levels peak in around the ages of 17 to 19.
Okay.
So I'm at the tail end of that now. I recently turned 19. Yay.
It's the growth spurt period, basically. Like you see most guys, they over like a holiday, you come back, they just suddenly increase by like 10 centimeters.
Bulk.
Those, they just increase in their musculature, in their height, in their frame, everything. Those are usually when testosterone is peaking.
I mean, hormones always, with everyone, is independent, but they are rough within teenagers, your puberty, stuff like that. Yeah, that's when it starts.
Yep.
Your body starts releasing more testosterone.
Your voice changes as well. Yeah.
You become Batman, of course.
Yeah.
So
okay.
My range, I tested last year when I was still 18, December. I got 900 nanograms per deciliter. Yes.
900. Wow.
That was after a week of, I was in Malaysia, sort of just on a holiday, and I ate lots of cheesecakes, horrible food, drank a lot of tap water, which is not good, stuff like that. Yeah.
Could it be that you counteracted that
with my biohacking endeavors
through other, like somehow you found a way to, maybe you were moving more, you were sweating, maybe. You see
could
that?
Could be. You never know, because
And I remember that you also took more risks, right? You go on like your own solo journeys. You were having fun, you were having less stress when you were there as well.
I think I had quite a bit of stress there, but that's besides the point. Yeah.
But in the general sense, I think 900, even when conditions are not optimal, that is,
I think it's really good.
That is very good, and
I'm
it's
happy
a reflection of your
hormones
emphasis,
working.
On taking care of your hormonal health.
Even like before that, because it is not just overnight change, it is really over time.
Yeah.
Time is the true test.
And although you don't see Josiah as those super big bodybuilder with like full face of beard shouting in like the deepest voice, but that is not what
that's not what I'm trying to go for.
A masculine person
really.
Or a high testosterone person should look like. Actually, some people with like very squeaky voices, they have actually quite high level of testosterone. It's just that their body don't dedicate the free range testosterone towards their vocal cords or their neck muscles or whatever. Like it doesn't.
True masculinity in there must be a divide between testosterone and masculinity. Yeah, because that's more physiological. Masculinity is really it's core inner. Yeah,
and also
it's quiet.
But in this case, testosterone also it doesn't just reflect on the external kind of characteristics of someone also. Sometimes just having more testosterone just allows their brain, their mind to work in the way that you want it to work. That's it.
Normal, which is nowadays average is going not normal. Even in Adonis school, I think most of because this is really going into Hamza's sort of content sphere, where what he preaches is, you want to fix your testosterone. That's how we heard about all this as a whole as well. Even in Adonis school, where they have testosterone experts and everything, what I realized from looking through the content is that, a lot of the guys, even though they care about their testosterone, their testosterone levels are like super low. So I'm quite an outlier in the sense already. I'm not very average. Yeah, I'm above average. Now the average keeps dropping. I think it's like 400, 500 or less. Yeah.
And not to mention like there's like this stereotype that Asians, Chinese or Korean, Japanese, we are more like soy boy looking, less testosterone. But your blood work kind of proved it otherwise.
Yeah, it's all internal.
Yeah.
You cannot compare the internal to the external, that sort of thing.
But the thing is, one test also doesn't mean
It's
too
only a
much.
snapshot.
Yeah. Usually you want like a few tests and find the average.
On a day-to-day, it fluctuates also.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But sometimes having a reference point, if it's good, just let it serve you as well. If it's bad, then it just means that you have to work on it. Yeah. So I think in a general sense, getting it measured is good, but keeping in mind all the mindsets that we talked about to be more masculine so that you get more testosterone. You allow your own body, you don't self-sabotage with like the things that will harm your hormonal health, which we will cover very soon.
Yes. To cap the whole masculinity thing, because I think we don't want to go too wide on that aspect. True masculinity is it's silent but deadly. I think it is.
You think?
Focus. I'm not sure of everything. That's
focus, but deadly.
It's silent but deadly.
Silent.
It's like a fart. I just realized.
Oh, no. Okay.
But yeah, it is focusing on getting work done rather than the appearance of work being done. That's a thought you can chew on.
So it's more like it's basically integrity, doing things for yourself instead of for show, for outer perspective, for optics.
Really taking on a responsibility, actually doing the work so that you can provide for your family, provide for the people around you, whether with money, love, it all. Yes, provide it all.
Okay.
As much as you can. It's all about what here.
What's there? Nothing.
Oh,
cold.
Heartless. Cold heart.
So we talk about heartless.
Oh.
I want to ask you a question. What are your thoughts on ashwagandha?
Oh,
because ashwagandha kind of plays into the testosterone topic because people take it for testosterone boosting. What do you think of ashwagandha? Because I know there are like anecdotal sightings, and I think I'm not sure if there's a scientific study, but they talk about ashwagandha makes you more emotionless. You're more numb to feelings.
Yes. I think I watched like Pygmy's video. He does basically a lot of self-experimentation like this. Recently in the past year, he's done a bunch of nootropics. That's what they're called. Supplements that are meant to sort of boost your cognitive or physical health.
Neurology, basically.
Neurology, yeah. So his use case was really low stress. So after he used it for a period of time, then he felt like desensitized. Like the stress was maybe too low. For me, I felt in my life, I'm already quite adapted to stressful situations. And generally, I'm really low stress. So I would like do super last minute assignments, like upload, like work and everything last minute on the dot. Then group projects even. Then my friends are all, they're in panic mode, chaos, everything. Then I'm there like, oh, this is fine. Like, I don't know. Like, so for me, I felt there's no need to. But if you try it out, make sure you want to cycle it. If you start feeling like desensitized to it.
It's not that desensitization is bad, but long term, if you're always desensitized, you are kind of using it as a crutch because you do want to feel the emotions that you feel. Whereas usually those are good signals. A lot of people just get overly anxious or all this, but like you still want some of it to have a good
healthy
gauge.
dose.
Yeah.
Healthy dose.
If not, in your journal, what do you journal about if you don't have emotions? Like, how do you know that you're going towards the right direction? And what if you start to get so desensitized because like you stop feeling like annoyance, you stop feeling hate. That just means that your spectrum of emotions also reduce.
You're not dealing with the emotion, you're avoiding it completely.
Yeah.
It's like a shortcut. It's supplement. Yeah.
I think you will also, I'm not sure about this, but I think if you start to hate less or like you lose the capacity to hate, you also lose the capacity to love as intensity. Yeah, so I don't think it's I'm not sure, of course. That's
We
why I
haven't
asked.
tried it ourselves, yeah.
Yeah, but so far when I take ashwagandha at night,
Oh.
it does help me sleep better. And generally, I'm able to think in a more calm manner. Like if something were to happen, that usually I'll straight away get reactive, straight away respond with like tensing up, anxiety, all this. I tend to keep calm and think, oh, this probably doesn't matter. I can always just solve it with something. Like I'm not gonna die. So I get less stress. And because of that calmness, that less stress, I do feel like I do see the symptoms of having higher testosterone, like the
As a,
nighttime
yeah,
erections, all
consequence.
this. Yeah. I
But
know this sounds a bit weird, but nighttime erections is a good form of seeing how
yeah,
high your testosterone is. So if you have them, you can make a conscious way of trying to remember.
it can be a gauge
Yeah.
also, like.
But I do wake up from them sometimes, so but it doesn't really affect your sleep as much.
Brian Johnson, his whole biohacking thing, he also like went into it and like started being more extreme in that. So, yeah.
It sounds very extreme because it's like we don't usually talk about like what measuring the amount of nighttime erections. It just sounds very off-putting, but it is scientifically a way to measure.
It is a physical, normal body function. Yeah.
Just erection just sounds funny to the younger audience.
Haha.
Yeah, so you immature. Okay, I'm not gonna swear, but just take it as a way for you to measure too. Like we talk about the importance of measurements from if you can
But
keep track of that.
everybody is different. So
yeah.
with supplementation, Huberman talks about it, always wanting it to be the last resort sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you want the lifestyle first. So basics, then from there you can go into, if nothing works really, then you try supplementing.
Yeah.
But supplementation is also sort of necessary with food, like micro density going like down. Like so the nutrients inside are worse.
So dietary supplementation of the micronutrients you need to be able to have a good balance of your hormones.
Yeah, I think we'll be going in this now, I think. Yes. So this list, right, was actually from a comment on Hamza's testosterone guide video sort of thing. And yeah, it was basically notes of the actionables that he recommended to his audience. It's a bit outdated, and he has since like given more protocols in his other his products or his second channel, things like that. So we will just be going through and systematically break down, analyze it, figure out what is right, what is wrong, because this is what I referred to in the beginning before I started optimizing everything.
And we'll give you the updated viewpoint and the protocols that you can immediately just start doing to increase testosterone. Yeah.
Because I cross-reference to all my soft sources as I am now. Yes.
This is origin story.
My origin story.
For the 900 nanograms.
Yeah. Okay. So, disclaimer, none of this is medical advice. Just suggesting things you could try to do. Trial and error, self-experimentation, measure yourself so that you can know whether it's effective or not effective or detrimental. Don't do anything that you're not... don't do anything that...
Just don't be a dumb shit, basically.
Yeah, okay, that's good enough. First of all, take omega-3 fish oil.
Oh, so there's a supplement.
Yeah,
That's a supplement.
Yes.
So, I think for supplements, omega-3 fish oil, personally, I do see that I feel better, like general wellness. But for me, another thing that I took was tongkat, the one that he gave me with, what was the other...
Fadogia agrestis.
Yeah,
Huberman recommends it.
Yeah, but generally I would prefer, my own personal take, I would prefer just taking fish oil and tongkat. Ashwagandha, maybe if you want, can try it, experiment it for yourself, cycle off. But for me, what works best, how I feel, is when I'm on omega-3 fish oil and tongkat. Yeah.
I used to take more in the past. Now I've sort of cycled off of it.
Yeah.
For now, because I'm skeptical about. From my other sources, they say that how well our body will absorb like the EPA or DHA, I think is not very proven. It's better to just get it from whole food sources. So that's what I'm doing right now. But I did it for a long time and I didn't see any health detriment. DHA, EPA, like these fatty acids, essential fatty acids in fish oil, they help to. Rhonda Patrick said it on the Huberman podcast. It helps with basically inflammation. So we talk about inflammation episode 7, I think. Yeah, that's.
And we also talk about the placebo effect. So if you haven't been taking like supplements that really designed to improve your health, sometimes starting to take like omega-3 fish oil does help you to change your story to I'm health conscious. So as a result, the other parts of your lifestyle will start to change as well. But at some point, the story might change into I need supplements to feel good.
Yeah,
Then that is the one that you might need to start cycling off and stop in order to get it from whole food sources. So it proves to you that you got resources. But sometimes supplements is still the easier way. So,
Supplementation, I talked about it before. I think safe supplementation is you test it, having it, and you must also test without having it to see whether there's a real effect. Then from there, you can decide whether you want to continue, you want to cycle it, stuff like that. I for whole food sources, I do like sardines, wild caught salmon, stuff like that for now.
Okay. What's the next thing on the list?
Avoid vegetable oils, sunflower oils, and seed oils.
So replacing seed oil with animal fats, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this one, we both of us fully agree. Because I tried my best to remove seed oil from my life. Like I don't really go to, like in Singapore hawker centers, most of them use seed oil because it's cheap. It's accessible. So nowadays I try to get my food sources from like just roasted shops or from grocery stores, or I cook it myself. But on the days that I reintroduce seed oil because of like lack of options or just to save money or whatever, those are the days that I actually see my body, my brain, I got more brain fog. I feel more inflamed. My joints, like my aura ring, when I take seed oil, I'm unable to remove it smoothly. And like now, faster and stuff, easy. But when I take seed oil, legit, it's just stuck on my joint because I can feel my whole joint, my knees, all inflamed. Seed oil, I'm quite sensitive to it. I think most of us are actually. It's just that we don't really.
The things that we don't have the baseline for like health.
Our baseline is just we always feel bad.
You need to experience what it's like to be healthy to even know there's a difference. Because if you're stuck in that, then
of course we have like younger people that's healthier than me because I used to be fat and like very unhealthy. But we'll have like athletes or whatever that feel okay without it. Like you don't really have all these issues, but long-term effect of like enabling you to continue taking oil that if you really see how they mix it, or it's gray, it's murky. They have to add so much like chemical agents that to make it to like clarifying agent to make it clear, add coloring, to make it look like oil.
And then they put it inside grocery stores or factories and let it sit there for hours, oxidizing everything, the plastics,
which
we'll cover in later, I think.
In general sense, just try to reduce seed oil, all this sunflower oil, peanut oil. What other seed oil? Canola?
I would really recommend watching maybe Thomas DeLauer, one of his videos where he explains it quite more easy to understand because we are not the authority on the subject.
We'll link it in the description in the show notes.
He also links to different studies and everything, right?
Okay, so next.
Well, okay, I still on the seed oil thing. I've been on the train for quite a while already, so I went down the path and Paul Saladino, he's a really bigger name in the entire sphere. So I learned it from him like about 2 years ago, and then I started hearing other biohacker person say same thing. It's not good for you, inflame and everything. What you realize is that the demonization of animal fats as a whole is you have to look at the trends. Okay, like for healthcare, everything, what has been going up on the rise? When were seed oils introduced into the modern sort of diet? And from there you can make whether it's causation, correlation. Generally, the trends indicate something. It's up to your own interpretation. Everyone has their own interpretation.
So what is your interpretation?
I would rather avoid it rather than continue just taking in seed oils.
Okay.
If I'm not sure about what it does to my body, I do not want to put it at harm.
Okay. And we also talk about like what chicken skin, chicken fat, all this. We
Yeah.
talked about it in previous episodes.
Episode 7,
So
yes.
in general sense, people demonize eating animal fats, but actually there's no real big harm. Actually,
How long have animals been
It's-
around compared to like factories with oil and everything? Yeah,
of course, like you can say nowadays the farming whatever is less ethical. They feed them with like hormones and stuff. Of course, there is that argument, but I think it's still better than silver.
Yeah, there are generally tiers or levels, so you want to just do the best you can.
Yeah.
In terms of price range, everything.
Okay.
I do like, you want grass fed, generally for beef tallow, which is fat, or ghee, which is clarified butter. Then also grass fed butter. Yeah,
Okay.
you can go into dark fat, other animal fats, as you wish. Yes, if you have the capabilities.
So the next point I believe is taking more salt
Yes.
instead of sugar.
Mhm.
So get your flavors. Okay, not flavor. Get your taste bud. Spark your taste bud with more salt content rather than sugar content. Although salt was also demonized as high sodium content causes hypertension. Okay, it does.
The thing is that with everything is all quality.
Yep.
So even salt, there is different qualities. What you want, as we covered in episode 7, I keep referencing for because we did cover it towards the end. It's really better options are Himalayan salt, Celtic or Celtic, and also Redmond Rail salt. All the carnivore people will, know what the brand is.
Basically, salt that is
Quality.
A lot of people think that sea salt is better, but sea salt actually have more heavy metals in them.
I mean, actually,
Try to
a
get,
lot of these are sea salts. We'll see. Yeah.
but all these are the higher quality ones. If you
Sure.
just get normal but like normal sea salt, there's a lot of heavy metals. Try to get mineral salts. Like I think Himalayan pink salt is mineral salt. It could be a sea salt or some of them.
All of them
they
are
mix it.
mineral salts. They have minerals inside. That's what you salt want.
But a lot of them you can get them from not just from the sea. But the three that Josiah mentioned is the higher tier ones in terms of what it does to the health. And yeah, salt, sodium with other minerals.
The problem with like whether you want to call it table salt or MSG, stuff like that, that's not the best. Like those are the sort of culprits for health and the demonization of salt in general. But yeah, if you get quality ones, I think there's less of a risk, or if you can avoid it altogether. It's really up to you whether you are, if you're sweating a lot more, is take it as you sweat and everything. Electrolytes are important.
And if to try this out, once you bought the salt that we recommend, the next time you wake up, because if you sleep for 7-8 hours, you are dehydrated. With salt, with sodium, with all these minerals, you need them in order for your body to be hydrated. Like drinking water alone, especially distilled water, actually does more harm for hydration than you'll just flush out more of the electrolytes and your body don't absorb the water that it needs. So having all these minerals in your body actually serves hydration more. And like coconut water has a lot of all these electrolytes, all these minerals that your body actually need to hydrate. So next time when you wake up, add some salt, the good ones,
Better quality salt.
into a glass of warm water.
That's what Huberman recommends also in the morning.
Mix it up, drink. It's tasty. Your body will find it tasty as well because
it may not at first, but really your palate adapts, right?
Okay, for me, when I'm dehydrated, when my body needs salt, the salt tastes, it won't taste too salty. Only when I have been taking a lot of salty, the salt will taste bad. Will taste like bitter or whatever. So I feel like I'm not sure about if this is for everyone, but I feel like our brains have this way to tell that we need something for survival or whatnot. Yeah.
Intuition, listening to your body.
Yeah. So try it out and see how you feel. Because for me, immediately the lethargy goes away and I just feel more energized.
So about your systems, everything. In the morning, salt is key for cognitive function as a whole. So for your brain health, everything important to have enough. Don't need to go excess a lot of it. That's when it will taste bitter and everything.
Yeah. And you don't really need warm water as well. Just don't go with cold water, that's all. Because cold water is not as easily absorbed by your body. So just go with room temperature or warm water so that you see the immediate effects, then that will give you like the feedback loop. Yeah. To enforce that, salt is good for you.
I mean, we're not sponsored by Element yet. So what I've been doing is just a glass of water. Nate Belma does this morning potion, and it includes like lime or lemon juice. I have lime juice, and then I add apple cider vinegar, I think. Yeah. So stuff like that can help with electrolytes as a whole. Electrolytes, you want a balance of potassium, sodium. It's a balance. Magnesium and calcium also, but all those we can go into in future episodes. Yeah.
And the reason why this is important for your hormonal health is because if your body is not hydrated, a lot of the bodily functions will fail, or they are not optimal.
Water is like one of the your body's made of 70% water.
Even like burning fats, which we will cover the next point. Burning fats require I think it's called there's a process of burning fat requires water, requires hydration in order for it to work.
It's one of the key macronutrients.
Yeah, that's why when I used to be in the fat people club in secondary school.
Whoa.
They call it Watch Our Weight or whatever, the WOW program.
Oh, okay.
One thing they teach, which so far is the one that stick with me, is drinking more water. Literally drinking like 3 liters of water if you are someone big size is essential. And if you're trying to get lean also, drink more water.
I think you sweat a lot more, so
I sweat a lot too. Yeah. So need to be hydrated.
Yeah, if you take in too much salt or anything, right?
Yeah.
You just piss or sweat it out, sort of.
Yeah.
So with sugar, everything is more crashes, inflammation. That's why you want to not avoid sugar completely, but just be mindful and prioritize salt, savory over sweet.
Yeah. And for me, it's easy. You just treat sugar as poison. You can take it a bit so that in a certain dosage, it won't harm you and it will increase the quality of life. But in general, you need to be more conscious about the amount of poison you put into your body.
Inputs into your body. We'll cover this more also later.
Yeah. So
for the fourth point, okay. We'll just gloss over this because I'm also not very sure about the efficacy.
Okay.
Yeah. But it is to avoid soy and flaxseed. For this, I learned from you yesterday that apparently it doesn't, because the idea is that legumes or like beans, stuff like that, soybeans, they have a lot of estrogen and they make you, that's why the phrase soy boy exists. It's a feminine sort of, that's why they make it out to be.
I'm also not 100% sure, but to me, if you source this out, like there's no harmful chemicals or whatever, like naturally found in the wild, I think taking them, if you're already healthy, I don't think it will actually cause your testosterone to drop or it will hinder your production of testosterone.
I mean, if it's all you have to eat, then obviously.
It might be estrogenic. I think it is. But estrogenic in this case could just means that it allows your body to produce more estrogen. That's all. It gives more incentive for your endocrine to produce more estrogen, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's just it's still quality at the end of the day. And then the dose, how much you have of it. So
how much? Yeah, if you're just eating soy and not enough of other micronutrients, maybe that's what is causing the testosterone.
Relying on it, that's why soy also has it's quite high in protein. Animal vegetable based, plant based. I forgot the term.
The plant diets. It's one of the more bioavailable plant-based protein, right? Soy. Yeah. That's why a lot of bodybuilders, anecdotal data is that they build muscle using just soy milk. And the soy milk they usually don't have a lot of sugar as well.
Actually some 50-50. I used to take I swapped from the sugar version last time. Before I started all this, I was drinking a lot, 3 cartons or something a day or something.
I used to drink a lot of soy milk as well. And definitely I think I got more estrogen as a kid. Just that it wasn't so bad to the point that, because I also take a lot of meat, I eat fruits, not totally unhealthy, I just eat a lot. The soy milk doesn't cause a lot of gyno or all this.
It's all up to your body, how it responds to different chemicals and everything.
So this point we are not sure, and just
test yourself.
Test yourself, or you want to avoid, you can just avoid. So up to you. It's your own decision. But the next point is very important.
Yes.
is what we have been talking about on previous episodes, and it's kind of like our origin story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it is all about fat, body fat, losing your body fat. Because what? Estrogen is what? Stored in your body fat.
So go get a liposuction so that you have more testosterone as a result.
Yes, of course.
But basically, the way fat cells work is not that you don't increase the amount of fat cells in your body when you become fatter. It's just that your fat cells are like containers. And the more you eat, the calories or whatever, the extra fat will get stored inside that fat cell and it will expand. It will basically like, it's like a rising agent, like just like grow.
Balloon,
Yeah.
like a fat cell.
Yeah. And everyone, we kind of have like a set amount of, it still changes, but we kind of have like, our body already dedicated a certain amount of fat cells in certain parts of our body. That's why you see somebody put on more fats in certain areas of their body.
Everyone's individual.
Yeah, everyone's individual. Yeah. And generally, there are also, you can go more in depth into like brown fat, or white
subcutaneous fat. That's why like visceral is the dangerous one. Yeah, we can go into this in future episodes.
But in the general sense, fat cells is a good way for people when they have a diet that's not clean, or they are exposed to chemicals that are harmful. We call these chemicals that are harmful to our hormonal health we call them endocrine disruptors. Yeah, basically, and your endocrine produce hormones, and if it disrupts your endocrine, then it will mess up the balance, or you might just decrease it. Yeah. So having all these endocrine disruptor easily stored in your fat cells, in general sense, it's not good. So you want your fat cells to not be bloated in that sense.
So a healthy range for, I think, guys is 10 to 15%. Right now I'm in a bit of a bulk. I think I reached, you notice over the past few episodes, if you watched, I've been like sized up, a bit puffed up sometimes. Inflammation also comes with that. But it's a price I'm paying in a sense. For women, it is, I think, 15 to 25 or 30 maybe. The range is higher for them because they need for their hormones, which are different from ours as guys. Yeah, definitely they can. Yeah, they also want more estrogen in a sense. We are not experts on female hormonal health yet. I may go into it in the future. Oh,
I'm surprised.
Oh, okay. Soon I will be.
Okay.
Yes. So generally, just monitor your fat percentage. If you're too high, then consider lowering. Yeah.
And also, if you have high body fat percentage, especially if it's like the visceral fat, the one in your organs, this visceral fat, right? Yeah. If you have those, it will just cause not just your hormonal health, your other body functions fail as well. Then everything will feed to one another. So in general sense,
it's an indicator of your lifestyle choices and everything.
Yeah. So
or your health,
having too much sugar, when table sugar is being metabolized, or alcohol, that's why beer belly is a thing. Because beer has a lot of carbs, simple sugar, and also alcohol. But through the process of metabolizing it, you gain more visceral fat. And as a result, if your body has all these fats and is signaling to your brain that, oh, I'm not healthy, where do you think the resources will end up? Like, it makes sense to not be dedicated into producing testosterone, because you need to survive first instead of like giving you the hormone to thrive in that sense. Yeah. So being healthy, having less body fat, just lose fat. Yeah. As somebody that I was 143 kg at my peak.
I was like 85. Now I'm like 70.
Yeah. So
I lowered to 60 before even. Yeah.
And we we just do a body recomposition, build more muscles while burning more fat. And having more muscles does help with burning fat. So
you burn more energy as a whole. Yes.
Yeah. So it will be a feedback loop, because having more muscles, training will increase testosterone as well. They will reduce body fat, which means that making testosterone will be easier for your body.
So virtuous cycle. Yes. So the next one is it's a bit related to the last one in a sense, where basically wherever you're burning in a sense. So going to a sauna, or just generally sweating, I think.
So yeah, I do use the steam room, which is the wetter version of sauna.
Yeah, I have also gone.
Yeah, so it just helps with just sweating out all the endocrine disruptor from your fat cells.
Yeah, it apparently helps with like plastics or whatever. Like us. Yeah.
And one hack that you should, okay, not a hack, it's just a tip, is that you bring face towel so that you can wipe off the whatever chemicals that you sweat out. You want to wipe off your sweat as you are in the steam room, because if you don't, you go out, your body will just reabsorb back the chemical. Yeah, all the nanoplastics, all the endocrine disruptor, BPA, BPS,
Some you don't want.
Yeah, all these endocrine disruptor will get reabsorbed, so get a face towel.
I learned that from him. So when I did go, when I had more time to go, I would also bring a towel.
Yeah,
I know you sweat a lot, like so. He generally just he's a sweat machine. Yes.
Yeah, you can say anything about me. No sweat.
No sweat. No.
Yeah.
A lot of sweat, but yeah. So that's very good for detoxifying your body. For me, I'm less.
Your sweat glands are not as active.
Yeah, not as active. But I try to sweat a bit every day. So I will do some physical activity. For my work, I walk, sometimes sprint if I'm late, bike to work. Then I always show up like sweating, but it's good because sweating every day, it helps your lymphatic system. That's like the clearance of your body. Yeah.
I guess that's why I think there are some studies that show that people that just take black coffee has a higher longevity, whatever, because coffee is a natural
diuretic.
Yeah, diuretic. So it forces water out of your body. So it makes me sweat like hell. And as a result, maybe more harmful chemicals are exiting my body.
It's like coffee can be seen as fat burning caffeine as well.
Yeah. So it's caffeine, there's a lot of like good health benefit, but we won't. It does play into testosterone because it helps you burn fat, it helps you sweat more, but it's not one of the main things.
Affect your sleep, which in this points, right? Sleep is not one of the points.
Yeah.
But it is the key thing that will affect your entire like physiology.
Yeah. It's what we just talked about. Like if you don't have enough sleep, your body knows that you're not healthy. So you just dedicate resources to surviving first. Yeah. Then you'll become a soy boy. Yeah. Okay, so next point.
Avoid plastic.
Why?
So in the video, he covered that it didn't only mean drinking water from a plastic bottle, but like touching plastic materials. So why exactly? We'll start off with a research paper, okay? A study. Oh dear. As this guy drinks out of a plastic bottle.
I totally didn't do this on purpose.
Oh, really? Okay. So there's new research just put out this year on plastic nanoparticles in plastic water bottles and in most foods. So they apparently tested 85 foods or something. Product placement.
Yeah.
They tested 85 foods, and then 84 out of 85 had phthalates in them.
Phthalates.
I think it's FTH. Yeah, phthalates.
What are those?
F sound, yes. Phthalates are artificial chemicals, right? Used to soften plastics. So they make it more flexible, more durable, hardened even. And they are used in fragrances, personal care products, things like that. And they are bad for you because they are endocrine disruptors.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they show a study, I think it's a rodent study, when they are exposed to phthalates, the amount of the fertility rate drop, and apparently their reproductive organs became disfigured or something. Like basically it doesn't work anymore.
It's scary.
Yeah, so having phthalates in your system not just causes your own hormonal health, but their future generations will have like, imagine having like no dick, or it just fucks your entire like reproductive
system, fertility,
system,
everything.
yeah. Fertility,
your chances, everything. Yeah.
Your hormone, basically your hormone is fucked.
Yeah. And you want to avoid the irreversible things.
So if you have too much of all these endocrine disruptor in your system, good luck to your future generation too.
Whoa.
It will be on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that your own personal wellness is affected, your future generation will get impacted as well.
So being conscious of all these will help you to mitigate negative impacts in the future,
Right.
or try to reverse them at least. Having that awareness. The researchers they found roughly 240,000 detectable plastic fragments in a typical liter of bottled water. Where's your bottled water? So a 1 liter bottle, 240,000. Okay, this one is just a number. I'm not sure accuracy and everything.
Yep.
But is that not scary? 240,000. That's a big number.
So avoiding plastic is important. However, our day-to-day life, even the pen I'm holding, this prime hydration drink also has it's in a plastic bottle. Even most of whatever that you're touching, keyboards, mouse, some of the water bottle, food containers, they're all in plastic. Even you go to a grocery store, most of the packaging are actually not most, almost 99% is in plastic. So how do you avoid plastic, or what can you do?
Okay. I think I have a lot of points from what you said, but the main thing is do what you can, because it's impossible to really avoid. It is now so it's quite impossible to avoid. If you want to live life without obsessing over everything, I went more extreme, avoiding it completely. But now there are some allowances. What you really don't want is to have it heated, heated plastic. Especially having your food, your drinks in plastic, because it's all about exposure. Internal exposure. So when you drink Prime, if you drink Prime, sponsor us.
Logan Paul sponsor us.
Yeah, KSI Logan Paul. So if you drink or you eat, you don't want heated. So hot drinks inside a plastic bottle, or hot food inside plastic containers.
And especially, I think fats also, right? Having more fat content does bring out the nanoplastic out of the plastic containers.
That I'm not sure, but could be.
I heard it somewhere recently. Yeah. So usually seed oil that you buy from good grocers, those are in plastic containers as well. And in those more extra virgin olive oil, all this, usually they will be in glass containers, because I think for people their target audience is for people that are more health conscious. So they know that fats you want them to be in glass containers. So that you don't have you don't ingest a lot of nanoplastic. However, no matter what people tell you, you still don't know through transporting, through manufacturing, whether they're in plastic or not. So how do you negate the effect?
With all this, it's just once you go to obsessing, then it's already the stress and everything will cause you more harm. So it's just, if you want the mindset of 80-20, so you do make sure 80% of the time you sort of sort it out. So sort out the environment around you, everything. What you do daily, what you drink daily, what you eat daily, what you touch daily. Occasionally, what you cook in, even Teflon pans are horrible. Any form of non-stick pan, avoid those.
Non-stick pans.
Then so we talk about plastic bottles, but also chopping boards, plastic chopping boards. When you chop, or your mother, anyone, or your parents, anyone who cooks.
You see the lines from your chopping board. Those are the lines that is made from you removing the plastic from the board and entering, let the plastic stick onto your food.
Yeah, the knife is literally getting plastics out of the board. And avoid those, especially. On the same train of thought, styrofoam, which is also a type of plastic. So when styrofoam containers, now Singapore, we have takeaway, they give either plastic boxes or styrofoam containers, right? When I thought about this before, is you take a plastic spoon, and then you take a styrofoam, which is plastic also, and then you scrape it, right? Like the food to eat. When you notice at the bottom is all all the scrapes and everything, you're basically also ingesting plastic. And that's not good.
So don't tapao.
I mean, it's best to maybe reusable containers are better for your health also, other than the environment.
So all the aunties, all the amas that carry the metal container to tapao food, those are,
You see, they are on a different wavelength. They're next
Yeah.
level already.
that's why they are still surviving. The other one that used to tapao, they are all dead.
So what? Something biased. But yeah, so plastic as a whole, right?
Yeah.
There are numbers to them. So you know the triangle little things with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 numbers, and it's good to have a rough gauge of what each of them are and like which are good, which you really want to avoid.
But in a general sense, phthalates, nanoplastic, microplastic, which is all from the scraping, from having it from the container, heating up containers, microwavable containers, all this. The key thing is that those are endocrine disruptor, and we really don't want to have as little as it in your fat cells as possible. And if you cannot avoid totally, which most of us can't, maybe at some next time when you got more resources, you can source everything out with the absence of plastic. But for now,
Yeah,
we
just
don't have
keep
that.
it in mind as a future investment with whether you have more money then or more access to it.
Yeah, and a lot of these points that we talk about, like just to quickly touch on this, is that you do not need to immediately incorporate if you don't have the capacity to. You can do it in the future. Just have this in mind first. But going back into endocrine disruptors, if it's in your body, go into a sauna, go to the steam room. Like I'm drinking from plastic bottles and what, but I'm sweating a lot. I'm trying to reduce fat by drinking green tea, and I'm going to work out later and go to the steam room later. So I'm trying my best to.
It's always dose.
mitigate.
Yeah, if you dose, then you want to mitigate as much. Do things to biohacking as a whole is to facilitate more life, have more allowance through supplementation protocols, everything like that. Really, phthalates and BPA, right? They are some of the most studied additives.
Okay.
They are endocrine disruptors that alter your system, so it will lead to adverse developmental, reproductive, neurological, your brain, and immune effects. So really, every system in your body interdependent. If you
Introduce
want
this
good health and introduce all these,
into
it will improve your entire body life as a whole.
Yeah. So don't allow plastic to enter your body, and if you do, try to do the things that we talk about that can effectively get it out of your system. Yeah.
The numbers for those who are interested, you can search up actually infographics. There are a lot of infographics where you can see what number is what and what type of plastic it is, what to avoid. Generally, the safe numbers are 2, 4, and 5. So you see the bottle. What's this? This good example. I cannot see. I'm blind.
I think it's hard to see.
Yeah, I should not have uncapped it. This is a 1. So this is a 1. Generally, I would rather avoid.
Yeah. Some of them is in the cap, I think. Yeah. These are 59. What?
59.
55.
Whoa. But yeah.
It's a 9, I think. It's a 5.
Oh, it's a 5.
2 and 5.
So that's 5 not bad.
2 and 5. So
or maybe the cap. Okay, I'm not sure.
There's 2 numbers.
There's 2 numbers.
So 2 and 5.
2 and 5. So it's maybe okay.
Yeah, shout out to Miedo's French mountain water.
Sounds
at least not the worst. Yeah.
So for the rest of them, like even for 2, 4, 5, you want to avoid heated. So no matter what, baseline, just avoid heated, and ingesting is the next level. So there are sort of levels you can up to you to determine.
And if you carry food from like plastic containers, just if you want to reheat them, just put it in a normal ceramic bowl or something. Yeah.
I use wooden bowls, metal plates, everything like at home. I use glass, wood, or metal. That's all I use for bottles also, which is actually also
now
another
if I
point.
sear a steak, I don't even put it in a plate anymore. Just from the wooden chopping board, I just eat it from there.
Yeah, that's also fine.
It saves you the effort to go and wash extra stuff as well.
Swap to wooden chopping board. And the next point is metal water bottles. So I always have metal bottles. I swap 100% stainless steel. Even in my tea tumbler, metal. I used before that I had a glass also.
And the thing is, with metal or wooden bottles is that you want to use metal because even there are like BPA free options now, like Nalgene or all these brands.
It's all a marketing label.
because we all know BPA, like the harmful effects. But in order for them to ship into their bottle, for it to harden, for it to appear to have higher quality plastic, at the end of the day, they still need to use another agent called BPS which has the same exact effect as BPA. So it's like they tell you it's BPA free, but what you want is not BPA free. What you want is the lack of endocrine disruptor, and they of course they won't advertise that, so they just lie to you. Or maybe they're not lying; they just tell you what you want to hear. Yeah, but it's still not good for
every
you.
company will have to justify their own product, right?
Yeah. So if you want to use it for convenience, for longevity, all this, then yeah, it's more durable whatsoever. But guess what? Your health is gonna.
The true test is always long term, and there are not a lot of studies and everything.
Yeah.
So you have to sort of gauge for your own body how you want your future, how much control you want over your because you have an influence no matter what. You cannot control it 100%, but as much as possible.
Use a metal water bottle.
Or glass, but like that's fragile, so practical.
Just use a metal water bottle.
Sure.
Okay, let's go.
Next is avoid polyester and nylon material in things like clothes. The alternatives are what? 100% cotton or wool things. I wear full cotton. Like basically 99% of the time, every single shirt I've worn, I think is cotton. Not sure. I wear fully like socks, I think pants, underwear, shirt, everything cotton.
Basically try to reduce the amount of synthetic clothing that you have, synthetic materials like plastic,
nylon,
yeah, all these are plastic.
It's not even about like I guess plastic. Nylon, what is nylon? It is petroleum, coal, water, and air. Like they through a process, right? They refine it, they heat it, they process it, and like that entire process to make that fiber that's not very
there are strong chemicals that will affect your body.
You don't know, and your skin is the largest endocrine organ. Endocrine is the largest organ of your body. So it's exposure internal and also external, like what you expose your body to, and the main points of contact are like your closer body parts, let's say the more intimate parts.
Also, like wherever your sweat glands are most active, the pores open out. It just allows more of these unwanted chemicals to enter your body. And at the same time, if you're in a country that's hot, or if you tend to heat up a lot, although I still wear like polyester clothing from time to time, I try to reduce it. And since last time, because it traps a lot of like odor, so I also don't really like polyester clothing.
It's so just generally minimize any form of minimization is better.
If you really cannot live with like just cotton, it's too hot, or wool, or I don't know, you just have something against all those, at least get a blend. Like with a blend, at least the surface area from your skin to contact with like all these synthetic fibers are reduced quite significantly.
You cannot find 100% all the time. So I think his gauge was also, Hamza's gauge was also 95%. Clothes shopping now, what I do is basically the first thing I check whenever I'm outside, I find usually on the side there's either side or the neck area, there is the materials tag. And I check that first thing first. Every clothes shopping or online, I just search 100% cotton. That's the way I go.
I check that as well. But some clothing, if it's really fitting, like oversized, let's say like there's one from Uniqlo, it's the sweater. I think I wore it on this podcast before. It's a blend. I just bought it because it fits me well. It's a performance fabric, like it's cooling, it looks good, it's anti-wrinkle whatsoever. Like this is 100% cotton, so it can wrinkle very easily. No matter what you do.
It's also timing and I guess exposure. So how long you wear it, what you're doing also. So if you're exercising, everything heating up, that's why gym clothing is so sort of bad for you, because it heats up also as you heat up, and then chemicals.
So as you're sweating out all the harmful chemicals, then it's just being reabsorbed again. So it's like, So just use this information to make your own decisions, of course. We are not asking you to totally throw out all your polyester clothing. Some people that are more extreme, that really care about all these things, of course.
Like me, yes. I am very extreme, I know.
And another point that I want to touch on is that if you want to go, like there's a timing for you, or there's a time for you to go into like a more extreme mode when it comes to taking care of your hormonal health. And that is when you want to have a baby, when you want to reproduce, when you are trying to get
Yes, you're
your
trying.
wife pregnant. That is when you need to really care about your hormonal health. Like really, I don't know, do anything that you can, go a bit more extreme, because you don't want,
For your own health and also your partner's health.
yeah,
Because-
and also
yeah.
not just for both of you, but you want to give the best possible. Like, it's like we are all dealt with like different cards, but we still can affect like whatever that we are dealt with. Like you see some people with maybe genetics that are not as good. It could be just their parents or their grandparents that didn't really care about certain things like health or whatever, that kind of bring them into this world with a disadvantage. So you want to try to give them as much advantage as you can. Yeah, but don't shower them with like, okay, that goes into parenthood already.
That's why you want to give your kids like challenges, but
Yeah.
like not the challenges in the sense of like health issues, everything.
Yeah,
You want to
yeah.
give them like harder or like maybe better challenges.
Yeah.
So materials as a whole can go for linen, wool, leather. I think also like you can go cotton. Obviously, one organic. I think Muji sells organic cotton. I have a few of their shirts, but yeah, so far I've not gone in that route. It may be the next step for me. There's always steps. I always have more steps to take also.
And linen is a good summer fabric, although I think it can trap more odor, but generally linen is a bit rougher, but it's more airy. Yeah, you can find those linen that are more sparse. It's not as tightly woven. Yeah, those will be a good summer clothing. So you want to dissipate heat or whatever, you don't get the harmful effect of all these synthetic fibers.
Yeah, well, this episode is very long, but yeah, there's a lot of points to cover, and that's why this is sort of a masterclass on the topic. So yeah, hope if you need a rest or anything, legit it's fine to take a break.
We can take a break together by
testing
taste
prime.
testing the lemon lime prime, because I believe you haven't tested.
I've never touched that in my life.
I tasted this last night and I want to see your reaction.
So we're gonna do the Lady and the Tramp, or
do you want to put?
Are you?
Can just pour.
I don't mind.
Okay, you can pour first. I'll see your reaction because I've tasted it before.
Okay.
Yeah. What is the first thing that hit you?
Okay. From my own experience, it tastes like Ribena Sprite or something. Like it's very fruit punch-esque. Like
lemon.
Tastes like Sprite. Tastes like Sprite.
Is it? What my brother said yesterday is like tastes like Kikapo.
Kikapo.
The
Singapore
fizzy
Singaporean green super like acid looking drink. Right? Yeah. I can also taste.
But can you taste how much artificial sweetener they added? Super sweet.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I think.
When are we getting sponsored? Logan Paul, Jake Paul, any of the Pauls.
Yeah, but this drink, of course, it's not as healthy as like just drinking pure coconut water.
And it's in plastic. So
and also salt and water is usually enough. But if you're really trying to like hydrate yourself and you don't want to drink water, or you're a kid, you cannot taste normal water because there's no taste, then I guess Logan Paul's brand is not that bad.
Not the worst. There are always levels, especially in relationship to your goals. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with the last few points.
Supporting companies that are helping with avoiding estrogens, like making like plastic-free materials. So basically more sustainable production or even sourcing of products.
This one to me is just based on your own capacity, who you want to support, whether it's value for money. Of course,
whether you can get access to them.
Yeah.
The price.
Just make your own decision. For like, let's say option A is more, it's a company that does all this, but it's at a higher cost. Of course, sometimes you really have to weigh your options. Yeah. So
I mean, I support Just Scoop. They sell a lot of the stuff that Hamza recommends, and he himself uses. I think like what geo organic toothpaste powder, then stuff like bamboo toothbrush, you want to question toothpaste, even like the ingredients inside that, like fluoride, whether it's
Yeah.
necessary or good for you.
For me, the only thing I bought from it is the coffee filter, because the other coffee filter that I gotten, or my mom gotten, has a lot of plastic in it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
my parents use this plastic coffee filter, coffee maker, that it is plastic. Then the filter paper, everything, even tea bags, right? Those things are made out of nylon and everything, which is also plastics, and you leach out into all your
Microfibers, basically.
microfibers.
Yeah.
So it's always like a combination of all these things, like fried food, seed oils inside plastic containers with plastic spoon, styrofoam, and then plastic coffee maker that makes, or coffee tea bags with plastic. It's all linked. It's all like one set of things. So once you eliminate that completely, maybe because it's the easier route. Like swapping to healthier alternatives, like just a metal filter with that's a metal filter from Scoop is pretty good.
And things that bring you a lot of convenience sometimes do contain all these things, because they cut costs and they save your time. But are you really saving time if afterwards
you're
your
paying
health?
for convenience, but you're also paying for your health.
So you sacrifice quality of life for quantity, so that you have more time to do nothing.
Quick, easy access.
You have more time from drinking from like all these microfibers. Then you use the time to live more. What's the word?
Healthily.
A mediocre life.
Let's
okay.
Say.
Okay, so next point, I believe, is on modern food.
Receipts.
Receipts.
Yeah.
We touched on BPA. So receipts
are super concentrated in BPA.
Yeah. So just don't touch receipts. Like
I used to avoid like the plague. Like I'll just like no thanks.
Yeah.
But
for me now, I try to minimize. I just use my fingernail to pinch on it if I really need to take it and throw it away.
Yeah, if it's possible, just ask them beforehand. Sometimes they just want to give it to you, and it's like, okay, take a step
nowadays I just say, I don't need receipt, then I'll say thank you to them. I have a good day, and I just leave. And they'll be happy
as possible.
Well. There's a chance for you to practice kindness, compassion also. Then you can just say no receipt. Another thing that I want to, last time when I'm not aware, when I'm a kid, if I don't have a tissue paper, I think some of you might do it. You'll use a receipt as tissue paper.
Oh, that's nasty.
I usually do that. Yeah. Before you know there's BPA on it.
The ignorance is the ignorance.
Yeah. So I will take the receipt and just wipe off whatever, like oil, grease around my lips. Yeah. So that's damn bad. Yeah. So don't do that. If you're doing it still, then good luck to you. Your kids will have a healthy.
We're not fear-mongering at all. No.
Yeah.
Don't use a hand sanitizer. Apparently, it makes estrogenics like worse or something.
Hand sanitizers
dries out your skin.
That one I'm not sure, but
I'm also not sure about it.
Generally, just wash your hands.
I use body soaps, everything, conditioner, shampoo, everything. I use from Scoop also. So they are natural, all that sort of thing. But if you cannot, then just avoid.
I guess those hand sanitizers with like maybe some cleaning agent, not. Like if it's like 98% alcohol, whatever, I think it's okay. It's those that with like a lot of fragrance, maybe some even contain some of the chemicals that are endocrine disrupting. Yeah. So
I'm also not that sure. So
if it's in the public space, don't use it. If you want to source out hand sanitizers, you can find those that are like more high in alcohol content or whatever, without so much scent.
I know Paul Saladino, I watched in some like Will Tennyson video, he uses baking soda.
Oh.
And baking soda is actually also like sodium something. It's like a form of carbonate, It's a form of salt also. So all these like natural remedies, they are like going back to the past, which there is wisdom in the past also. It's just like reincorporating now.
My grandma tell me that to disinfect or whatever, just use your saliva. Yeah, so just next time if you want to disinfect your hand, just spit on your hand. I'm joking. I'm actually joking.
It does break down things, but yes. Let's break it down. Okay.
All right. Next.
The next one is a very Hamza, I think context dependent to Hamza, because he had a varicocele, I think that's what it's called. Basically he had to go through a surgery because his balls.
Honestly, I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't need to
it's a
cover
touchy,
that,
it's a
yeah.
touchy subject, or not touchy. I don't. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, we'll just keep on this point.
Yeah. But for like proximity to your crotch and everything, really what I've been doing personally is avoiding putting my phone in my pocket, because even Tim Ferriss in the 4-Hour Body, like 2010, this source is like 14 years ago. He was already covering like, he did sperm tests and everything, and because he was to like check his fertility, and then what he found was that just removing his phone from his pocket, his like sperm count and everything just went up in the right direction. And you generally want to not impact your systems, everything in a sense.
And recently there's a study that actually shows proof that this is correct. Like I think the waves or whatever the EMF, the electromagnetic field that is generated around your phone does affect the health of your sperm.
It's always proximity. So like it goes up like exponentially, I think, like the closer it is. So I really avoid my pens at all times, even when I'm outside with friends. I just have my phone in my hand,
or
never in my pocket.
Keep it in your if you are wearing pants, you can keep it on the lower pockets, because the further it is, the less harmful it is. Because like EMF, the way it works is it drops off, like I think it's like the power law. The closer you are, it's like don't know how many times.
Exponential.
It's exponential. So if you have like thick pants or whatever, or generally water, moisture, all will stop the waves. So
I think
keep it further.
We're not very sure, but yeah, just try to do your best.
I mean,
even with your heart and your head and everything, like your proximity from the phone, I do like. Okay, but yeah,
it's the same thing as Wi-Fi. Like Wi-Fi, if you are too close to it, 5G especially, it does affect your health. But if it's far away, the effect get diminished very quickly. Yeah.
And then at night when I sleep, I turn on like airplane mode, everything. Like if you're airplane mode, or turn off your phone before you put in pocket if you want to put it in pocket. Stuff. Their levels are, you must gauge how practical it is for your own life. Yes.
Yep.
Then the next one is avoid modern food. So most of his recommendation was use his diet of mostly meat, vegetables, fruits and nuts, stuff like that.
So basically whatever that you find in the grocery store now that is made by a group of scientists in a lab, avoid those. Those are usually hyperpalatable, full of chemicals, and doesn't give you the micronutrients needed. Like, it gives you a lot of calories, but the calories are dense and don't contain the essential nutrients that your body need to produce all these hormones. And sometimes it's even harmful. It's not that it's don't have good, it's that it's bad.
It's viewing, this frame I got from, I think, one of the, I think Sean Baker or something. He's one of the carnivore guys, but even still, like, regardless of his views on food, everything, like this frame or concept I like a lot is viewing modern food as recreational drugs. So McDonald's, fast food as a whole, all the packaged little Lay's, chips, whatever, those are shiny, bright objects. Like, what do drugs... Okay, when you take a drug, supposedly we are drug-free, or society, yes. When you take a drug, what happens? Like ecstasy, everything, like what do they characterize it with?
It gives you a lot of a rush of feel-good hormones. So give you a lot of the reward without the cost, the upfront cost.
A lot of it is like, they have like when you see on films, like the experience, everything, it's like a kaleidoscope, like all the bright colors, neon colors, right? Like that totally warp your perception, everything. And that's how sugar sort of acts on you also. And how, all the food packaging, everything, bright red colors, green, lime green, neon colors.
Sponsor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's you have to like make links in that front and see whether you want to continue having recreational drugs, because people do like share them.
If people offer you cigarette, or a group of people smoking, and they're like, hey, why don't you smoke with us? It's the same thing. Now we know cigarette became like a thing that it's uncool to do. So same thing with sugar and stuff. Like eventually it moved towards that direction. And eventually even artificial sweeteners will be the uncool thing. But be ahead of the curve, I guess. Know that it's a drug, and it's not like you cannot like if you take it once you'll die. But know the effect of it. You'll get addicted. It will cost you not upfront, but later on.
It's also okay, quality. So that's really the worst of the worst. If you're focusing on micronutrients, so beyond macronutrients, which are the protein, carbs, fats, that sort of thing, micronutrients, so vitamins, minerals. If you go into that, you can, if you're optimizing for those, right, you actually also, your diet will actually look very colorful also.
Yeah.
Like my diet, like if you have like, imagine like salmon, grapefruit, all these, their colors are actually quite bright also.
It's natural.
There's no need to demonize colorful foods or everything, but it's just knowing the quality and what you're inputting.
And the reason why this is important for people that you care about self-improvement, which I think most of us that watch, like listen to this point, you do, is that if you want to, like, if you demonize like YouTube shorts, all this fast-paced or like entertainment, pornography, all this, you know it's bad. The reason why it's bad is because you get all this feel good without all the cost. And basically, YouTube shorts is like the fast food or the modern food of like information. So your mental diet, you want the long form content, you want podcasts like this, you want audiobooks, you want to read from sources that are longer. Those are the whole foods, which is what we want you to prioritize whole foods over all the modern processed ultra processed hyper palatable food.
Yes. I mean, I would like to think that I'm the embodiment of a very conscious consumer. Conscious consumer. Yeah.
Okay.
So when anyone passes me any form of product, or if I'm grocery shopping, right, the first thing I do is I take it, I turn it around, then I look at the ingredients list. Like, it's an automatic behavior for me now with everything, even shirts, clothing. Check the tag. Always check the tag. I want to be conscious of what I'm inputting into my body, and that. It may seem extreme, especially
it's an identity that can serve you in the long run. It may seem a bit extreme in the short run, and maybe at first you might also do it in a way that maybe make people unhappy or whatever. But after a while, people get used to it. Like, people don't really care about you as much. So do what that serves you.
Yeah, and what I'm trying is, because people ask me like what I'm doing and what I'm looking at, then I will try to explain it to them also, because it's a challenge also, because I have to. Because I have all my information in my head and they don't have
So you feel
No, it's not about superiority.
Okay.
To me, it's a problem if I were to input such palatable foods, because I know the detriments to my body and everything, and that will cause me more pain. So it is my default. Habitual change your default. So my default is just better.
Yeah.
Which is neither superior nor inferior.
I mean, they will see when your life gets better, your health gets better, they'll ask. That's the best time for you to tell them the story of how you remove all these harmful things and refer them to this episode.
Yes.
Okay, so next.
Eating grass-fed meat, not grain-fed.
I think we covered this earlier, so it's just about there are layers to all this, but generally try to aim for grass-fed. And I thought about it, like make your own decision. If it's too costly, just go for the grain fat. It's always better than seed oil.
Yeah. Yesterday we went for steak buffet after our episode.
Yeah.
So it'll be last week's episode for you guys. It'll be yesterday for us. But we went on a steak buffet, all you can eat.
Ribeyes,
and it was not grass fed.
Actually, we don't really know, but most likely it's not.
If they don't preface that it's grass fed, and then there's even more like you want grass fed, grass finished, stuff like that. But like personally, even I don't have access to that right now. But when I do buy my meat, because I prep most of my food now, because I know of everything I just mentioned, we mentioned previously. So I get bulk meat, get grass fed, and it's the lowest cost without sacrificing quality. That's why I try to go.
How do viewers follow this advice? Like, what do they need to do? What do you do to source all this?
If you are in Singapore, like I am, then you could reach out to me. I guess my links are in the description. You can reach out to me on Twitter, X. If you live somewhere with access to like farms and everything, that's what Hamza recommends also. Which future plans for me? Yes, that's it.
Okay, so if you don't have access, just stick with just eating meat and whole foods. If you have, go for grass fed, go for higher quality meats, and if not, just go to the gym, work out to counteract all this.
Meat, like protein, as long as it's not fried, everything like it's good for you.
And don't go for those processed in the plastic bag, or those, I don't know, those salad chicken that is ready to eat. Yeah, just avoid those. If you really, it's still better than like chips or whatever, because there's protein, macronutrients. So there are levels to this, but just aim for, if you can go for grain-fed beef, just eat that. It's fine.
Aim for fixing 80% of your meals.
Yeah.
And then the 20% you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Because you eat basically the same few meals. Like if you have your choices with every meal, they're quite limited. You don't go past like, I think 10 standard meals. So just fix those, then the rest, exceptions, let them be the exception.
And the way I do things is that last time I also don't cook. I always have the limiting belief. Now I cook, but last time I'll find a few food sources that I enjoy and I think it passes like the, I guess my criteria of
Quality check.
Yeah, quality check. Like, okay, it's pork, but it's high in protein. It's relatively cheap. There's a lot of it. And there's not a lot of like sugar, whatever, or seed oil. Then I'll just stick with that and eat more of it. Yeah. Then if there's like fermented food, all this, that's like good for your gut health, that's like on separate topics, then I'll just keep going. So it's the same thing for this. Make your own decisions, but have all this information as in your like arsenal, like your
information are tools also. So mental resource, you just store it. Perhaps when you're at that level, you can come back and sort of revisit.
Then you get more skilled by applying all this knowledge. So at this point, you might not be skilled enough to, I don't know, go for grass-fed all this. It seems like it's a lot of chore to you, but it's fine. Just that
levels
grass-fed is the higher level.
Yeah, we are sort of extending your maximum standard, raising the standards, setting standards higher, so that there's a roadmap to go.
Refined carbohydrates and grains. What about them?
So this is more like things like pasta and bread. The whole idea I heard from Dave S. I think, is basically grains as a whole, wheat and everything. They are getting like sprayed with folic acid or something like that. So they are enriched. And that causes our bodies have like, there are gene mutations. Some of us have, some do not have, and we respond differently to them.
I mean, imagine a farmer, I don't know, in Vietnam trying to like plant rice or wheat or whatever. Like, in order for them to ensure they are profitable, they want to make sure they can harvest good looking, good quality wheat that is consistent. They don't want to have like bugs or whatever. So they will spray with chemicals. They will
pesticides.
Yeah, they will, some even like crossbreed or whatever to make the thing
genetically modified.
Yeah, genetically modified like plants or wheat or grains. So like, in order for them to survive, you are inputting into your body things that are not as good for your hormonal health.
Yeah, it's just avoid if it's not like a super staple large part of your diet and you must have it. So because I think both of us also, like, we do like pastries and everything.
I thought about it. It's my kryptonite.
Yeah, his kryptonite. I also enjoy like cheesecakes and croissants and everything, stuff like this. But it's just having them be exceptions. Is for me, it's just future plans. Like, I would rather go to Europe. Like, certain parts of Europe, their grains are actually not modified and everything. So they are more safe, and that's why people can go there and legit eat.
Even if it's not safe, it tastes a lot better. So at least you know that what you're inputting your body is bad, but it tastes so good that,
I mean, you cannot call it bad. There's no need to call it bad. It's just you can separate the food, the base ingredient, from the preparation process or what's added like in between when you get it. Yeah.
And one hack is go for sourdough, because the way they make sourdough bread actually removes a lot of this. It's like it reverses
fermentation.
Fermentation, kills off a lot of all these chemicals, harmful chemicals. Even pesticide, I think it does reduce the effect of pesticide through just fermentation.
Yeah, that's
the fermentation.
It's the safest option for me also personally.
And I love the taste of sourdough bread and the texture and everything. So go for sourdough bread if you are someone like me that loves baked goods.
Okay, then the point 18, we're getting to the end. Don't use bathroom chemical stuffs in plastic bottles. Instead, use more natural ingredients. I think we touched this earlier with I use a lot of scoop products, natural ingredients. Yeah.
Then I'll touch on my point of view is just to avoid paraben, which is one of the more harmful ones, one of the endocrine disruptors. And paraben, as long as there's a word paraben in the ingredient list, usually it'll pair with some like long ass word before the paraben, like I don't know, like
all chemicals.
yeah. Basically, if there's a word paraben in it, just throw away that shampoo bottle. Get a new one that don't have paraben in it, because paraben really fucks up your testosterone.
There's a list I have from this guy on X Twitter. He has a thread or tweet about it. I'll just link it in the show notes, so you can check it out. There's all these chemicals that, he cites studies, but these are the things you want to avoid in your day-to-day self-care products, everything.
Okay. The next one will be a long one, I guess.
Longer, okay.
Yeah.
So get a charcoal water filter. Okay, this one I'm not sure. Yeah, the Huberman episode on filtration and everything.
It's just having it's not a charcoal filter, it's a carbon filter, first of all. Yeah, so having a carbon filter removes a lot of the endocrine disruptors. And also, one thing about our hormonal health is that when we drink water from the tap, or we just boil it, it doesn't actually go through any process that removes all the harmful chemicals.
I think it's stuff like fluoride and like questioning the.
It's not just fluoride and all this. Like from a lot of our water sources, it actually come from like the ocean, like desalination, all this. And there's one thing that causes our hormones, like it's very bad for our hormone, is
but it's birth control, right? Like
birth control pills.
I'm not sure if in Singapore where we live, it is as prominent or real effects, because they will affect the birth, like as a child's development, early child, especially if a mother who's expecting is drinking
close to phthalates level. Like basically, when a girl take birth control pills and through like urination or whatever, it gets discharged into our water system, and they process the water and whatsoever, go to the ocean, whatever. It actually doesn't remove that chemical, and the chemical will go back into your water source. And a lot of our water source still have that chemical because they are not properly like chemically filtered.
So it's better to filter any form of input. You want to pay some form of attention, be mindful of what you input.
And of course, like the most basic one that can remove most of the ones that you don't need is the carbon filter. But you can go with reverse osmosis, all this.
Yep.
Then you want to remineralize the water, because if you reverse osmosis, it become distilled and your body can't get hydrated as a result. So there are levels to this.
Trace minerals things. Yeah.
Just go with the carbon filter as like the immediate next step if you want to pay attention to your water intake. Because tap water is really bad. Or the water coolers that you see outside, water dispensers, water fountains, the harmful effects of it is actually more prominent than you think.
Yeah, I got my family to invest in a reverse osmosis hydrogen water filter system. It was like I think $600 Singapore dollars. You can look into the efficacy of like hydrogen water. There are like studies that says it improves mood and everything, especially in elderly people. That I'm not sure about the effects. Like there are all these bottles with like the like bubbles. Not sure about that. But yeah, I also cause my workplace has a water sort of filter thing, but it's not really a filter. It just actually takes water from the back and pumps it out in front.
It's a dispenser.
Yeah, this is a dispenser. And I realized that, so I started bringing, just my big bottle. I think you've seen it in previous episodes. If you've watched them, yes. So I just bring a 1.5 liter bottle of water with Celtic salt inside. And I also have either a tea tumbler or another metal bottle, stainless steel bottle that has like bone broth. So my hydration for the day, I sort of sort it out day to day, and I prep my food also day to day. So that's where I'm at as a whole, with like caring about being mindful about what I input. I think that's those are all 19 points, right?
Yeah, just the last one is just water. And
water.
Last time when I tell my group of friends, my close friends, that like the importance of filtering out water and stuff, they didn't believe me. Then I started using what they care about, which is testosterone, building muscles, which is what you watch this episode for, to incentivize them to pay attention to this. They were like, oh, I asked them like, what about fluoride? Like, do you know what's the effect? And they're like, oh, it's just to clean the water and all this. They don't believe it at first. Afterwards, as like I sent them like Andrew Huberman link, like basically I just use their authority to as a shortcut. They start to realize and they go and like buy water filters. And yeah, I think their health probably improved, and they don't even attribute to that. And I also, now that we talk about this topic, then I realized that yeah, they started building more muscles, their mood improves, everything improved, the quality of life improved as a result of that. They have less like mood swings, less emotional, all this, because your hormones are in check.
Everything is independent. Whether it's the cause or correlation, we never know, but we can at least you can never control the full output. You can control your input.
Yep.
So yeah.
And some of them, just saying, a lot of you want to like look max or whatsoever, their jawline improves as well. Like, you can tell they have like less water retention, their fat decrease, they have more muscles, they just look more like a man. And is that a result of having more testosterone? We don't know, but that's what we have. And I think we went through this list telling you, explaining in our own way and what we did, how we applied, and where we are now, so that we can inspire you to take action. So if at any point you have some inspiration to like do something, write it down or start like take the next step. Like, you don't need to straight away go for like grass fed or whatever, but take the next step. As in, if we talk about like going to the sauna steam room, maybe you can just Google where's the nearest steam room or like at what cost. And if you talk about like eating more meat, animal fats or whatever, and seed oil, go look around your house for like food with canola oil, seed oil, all this that really destroy your health. Yeah, so that you can have the optimal level of testosterone to live the life that you want.
There are a few points that this list doesn't really cover, like sunscreen or like socializing. We will go into in future episodes based on, I guess, the feedback or response from this episode, or even like squats. Yeah, all the S's for some reason. Yeah,
I mean, if this topic will probably come back at some point, because testosterone is still very important.
It's a high performing topic. Yeah.
If you yourself, you see the urgency or you see the importance, the significance, we welcome you to dive into this at your own free time. Like literally go into the rabbit hole of watching how to optimize testosterone, all this like more, they call it, what's the word? Esoteric.
Yes.
Yeah, the more esoteric approach of like hormonal health. Yeah. And
at the end of
maybe
the day,
you can educate the rest or us on things like this even more. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's doing the best with what you have. Being resourceful with business, with life as a whole. You cannot control the cards you're dealt, but you can control what you do with them, how you play it.
Yeah.
So no need to obsess. If you have limited choice, then just choose the best possible option. If you have unlimited choice, like a lot of us now have, with a lot of freedom to access to, every option basically, online, internet, or if you have access through financial freedom in that form, then exercise that choice wisely. Invest in yourself, fix your hormones, fix your life. Thumbs up, man.
Yeah. And we thank you for investing
your time and energy and
energy.
attention.
Literally, if you pay attention throughout this episode, you are ahead of others. Like
this episode is our longest ever yet.
Yeah, but it's also quite important because hormonal health, like we talk about the benefits, but if you know all these points and you start incorporating them into your life, just think about like how easy life will be and how
the trajectory of your life.
Yeah, like I think if you can fix most of these things, your hormonal health is in check. A lot of like your issues can just be like you naturally, those issues that you think are problems, those are just symptoms of maybe having bad hormonal health. Yeah. So see it for yourself. Yeah. And yeah, thank you for taking your time.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.